Today's video is sponsored by myself and my webshop tsmc.shop. Please go check it out. The new website is now live and we're constantly adding new products to get you a better shopping experience and the best possible tools and materials for your hobby needs. So back in April I started on this build, and let's say things didn't go according to plan. Pretty much nothing of that had anything to do with this build at all, and just general life stuff happened. I got really busy and sidetracked and busy and a bit busier with other things, so this one was put to the side and I did what I had to do to keep the channel alive, so to speak. So there was a bit of a lack of content and not really that much exciting new stuff. Now lately I've been getting back into the groove of things, starting to get more time to build again, so that's why the videos are ramping up a little bit more. Now I'm not going to be a full-time YouTuber anymore. I haven't been for a long time, so that's not going to happen. I'm just going to have fun, do a couple of things here and there, and upload when and where I can. So back to this specific build. I picked it up a little while ago to finish the interior. That video has been posted, and it was high time to finish the rest of the build. The body had already been painted in episode 1, and the paint has been fully cured. It just needed some more black touches all around, so the body was masked off. All of those areas were painted with Mr. Hobby flat black. I then realized I forgot some pretty crucial photo etch parts on the rear bumper that also needed to be painted flat black, so those were glued in place. Then I masked it off again and painted it black. When that was all said and done, I could move on to gluing in the interior. So originally when I painted this model, I had a specific design in mind to do a bit of a throwback to the Audi RS7 that was usually painted in blue and then had some silver highlights all around. On most of these Audis back in the day, when you ordered an S or an RS, you can order some silver parts like the mirrors and some chrome or trim bits all around. Now this has lately been turned into carbon fiber and black on a lot of the new models. I kind of wanted to do the throwback like I just mentioned, going with the Nagaro blue bodywork, a modernized version of it at least, and instead of going for the carbon fiber or gloss black trim options, I decided to go with a silver titanium look. So these parts were painted in Mr. Hobby Titanium 2. This is a super metallic series. It works really well, gives a nice fine metallic finish and also a pretty convincing look, and just what I was after. So I painted the side mirrors, the door handles, some of the trim pieces for on the front bumper, also the side skirts and that lip on the rear bumper. A lot of the grills were just painted in a gloss black because I didn't really want to overdo it, and I figured those would look really nice in a gloss black, contrasting with all of the blue and the silver trim work. Now I do have to be a little bit honest, straight after painting the body I wasn't too convinced on the color, but after applying some of these additional trim pieces and the build coming to a slow completion, it did start to put all the puzzle pieces in place, and I'm actually really happy with the outcome so far and really looking forward to seeing it put on its wheels. So to add even more color to the mix of the exterior, I decided to go with some red calipers for the brakes. I'm just going for a bright red from Mr. Hobby. It's simply a gloss red. I'm just going to leave it at that and add some decals for the logos on top. Gives a nice little contrast inside the wheels with the carbon ceramic brakes. So if you've been following this build from day one, then you probably remember me mentioning something about the wheels that came with the Alpha model kit. I simply do not like the wheels that came with the kit. The design doesn't really fit with the overall aesthetic of the build that I'm going for. Plus, they also had the performance wheels on the box art, but then did not include them in the box, so I really wanted those wheels because I really like the way they look. Now luckily PixelSun, a 3D designer specifically designing 3D files for scale models, has made a specific set that I'm after, and that is the performance package wheel that Alpha model put on the box art. So I'm really happy that he made this design. It did require it to be printed though, so luckily I have some 3D printers and a little bit of experience in 3D printing, and I printed them on the Elegoo Mars 5. With some great results. A super nice and clean, crisp wheel straight out of the printer, just needed a little bit of cleanup. Then I could move on to priming them and painting them in some titanium as well from Mr. Hobby. PixelSun also designed some tires to go with the 3D file or wheel. But luckily the wheels and tires from the Alpha model kit are the exact same size, so I just decided to use the rubber tires from the model kit, put those on the 3D printed wheels, so I didn't have to paint them, and also had some rubber tires instead of hard resin tires, and in general that looks a little bit better in my opinion. Otherwise I would have painted those tires in a flat black and then put them on. Now in the meantime you have some beautiful shots of my hands, and then just outside the screen you could see me put in the taillight lenses. These are just the clear lenses from the kit, painted in clear red from Tamiya and then glued in place with some Bob Smith Industries Super Gold Plus. The headlight lenses were also glued in place, but then with some craft bond from Tamiya, which is a little bit more forgiving and you can remove it a little easier with a bit of water or just rubbing it away with your thumb or any of your other fingers, of course. And it dries clear. And with that said, after about 7 months, this build is finally finished and off the table and into the display cabinet. I hope you guys still enjoyed this build, even though it took quite a while, and aren't too mad at me in the meantime. Now, time to move on to some other stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.